Good morning and welcome to the kickoff space for our second annual WSOP Spaces coverage. I'm Sherry Pluskota, aka Peaches, and my co-host is software Brian Pinkus. Hey Brian.
Hey, how you
I'm
doing?
good. How are you?
Great.
We ready for this?
We're ready. We're ready.
Absolutely.
Series starts tomorrow. So
You're we can't hear you, Brian.
hear me?
You said the series starts tomorrow
Eight.
and guess what? It's going to be amazing. Can't wait. Let me get through a couple of house cleaning items. Welcome to those that are here, Isaac and Jonathan. We appreciate you. And for those that are going to listen on the replay, we appreciate you as well. Couple of house cleaning items. First, many thanks to Elevator Results, who has been our sponsor for about a year now. If you need a tailor made workout plan to help you lose weight or to gain weight, Elevator Results can design that plan. Follow them on Twitter or check out their site at elevatorresultspt.com. Please give them a follow, folks. We'd appreciate that. We are all about promoting businesses that will help anyone and everyone's WSOP experience. So if you own such a business or know of one, for an example would be the laundry service that we promoted last year, please DM me the information and we will pass it on and make sure you get the credit. By the way, the laundry service is Fernando at Express Laundry at 702 927 1778. That being said, we just want to let everyone know at the onset we will not be publicly promoting any businesses that are not legally registered as such. We are sure that everyone can understand that we are protecting ourselves as well as others. So let's go, Brian. I'm going to start out with a little bit of a did you know? Did you know that the 2023 WSOP event, the entire summer camp, attracted 214,641 entrants from more than 114 different countries and awarded more than $403 million in prize money. Out of all those entries, only one female player won a bracelet, and that was Tamara Abram, who won the ladies' event. Go ahead, Brian.
You know that resulted in 3 million vet restrooms in business here.
Okay, we are losing you. Like you start out strong, but then you fade away. That resulted in what, hun?
3 million restroom visits.
But this year, the men were not sharing it, the ladies' room, as they tried a couple of years ago, thankfully. Oh, the good old days of the WSOP at the Rio when they had these harebrained ideas. So let's go on to talk about the upcoming tournaments that are going to be around Vegas. And I don't want anybody to feel slighted that we're not talking about casino poker rooms or poker rooms that don't have series, but we're just focusing on the different series that are in Vegas. But rooms like the Results World or Sahara are definitely having some great poker tournaments on a daily basis. So definitely check your Bravo app or your Poker Atlas app for those. So, first of all, the WSOP, as we all know, kicks off tomorrow with two events. The first event is at noon and it's a 5K champions reunion and it's a no limit freeze out 8-handed. Brian, do you know what happens when someone knocks out a former main event champion?
What happens?
They get a buy in for the 2024 main event. How awesome is that?
In the casino event?
Yeah. No, no, not the casino, the champions. It's a 5K champions reunion.
Oh,
So they have
oh, cool.
invited the past main event winners to come play this tournament, and hopefully they all will. And if you knock one of them out, you get a main event seat for this year's main event.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
very cool. Do you want to tell us about event number two?
Event number two. I don't know.
Okay, I will.
For the for tomorrow.
Right. Event number two at the
Yeah, go ahead.
WSOP is and you alluded to it a minute ago, is the $500 buy-in casino employee no limit event. And I'm sure we're probably going to know who wins that because between all of us, we know everybody in the industry, don't we?
Right, right. It's always a cool
It,
event for
it
sure.
is, and it's nice that that they are giving back to those that run everyday poker. Right? We can't do it without all of them.
Well, Sherry, the other thing too that people don't realize is it's a kickoff for the dealers too. So, they're giving them some people that hopefully have lived in their shoes a little bit and give them a little grace.
Absolutely. And also to give some practice to those new dealers. And hopefully, those veterans will help them out and be kind and courteous as we all are. I just have faith that we all are. You want to go ahead and tell us about what's going on at the Wynn this starting tomorrow or this week?
Uh, the Win starting tomorrow, or actually, I have today, Sherry,
No,
because
that's
today
perfect.
these
No, today, tomorrow, whenever. Yeah,
tournaments,
no, that's perfect. Go ahead, bud.
yeah, 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 these tournaments around town, a lot of them have already kicked
Right.
off,
The
but
Win Summer
today
Classic started on May 22nd and goes through July 18th. Go ahead, bud.
12 o'clock, $600 no limit hold'em, $100,000 guarantee on that one, Sherry. So give me
That's
a 100K
awesome.
guarantee. The 25K. Uh, so it's a $100,000 guarantee, 25K starting stack, 30-minute levels, and late registration's open till 4:30.
Brian, are you using a Bluetooth or something? Because you're moving away from the microphone and we lose you when you do. He is trying to sort that out. And then when he does, he'll click on that microphone button and we will get back to what the win has got.
What a rookie.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Is that any better or no?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. What happens is you start out strong, but then it sounds like you turn your head and you fade out.
I don't know. That's really that usually works. But anyway, so that 12 p.m. event, I don't know how much you heard, but it's a 100K guarantee for a $600 buy-in, which is, obviously excellent. So that gets kicked off at noon. Um, and uh, and it's 25K starting stack, 30-minute levels, late registration open till 4:30. And then also at 12 o'clock, they have a Big O tournament starting, 50K guarantee, 30K starting stack, 30-minute levels. Also late reg open till 4:30. At 6 o'clock, they have a milestone satellite to the 1100s, which are tomorrow, which is tomorrow. But also those 1100s, I think, are kind of like their standard. Of course, I'm going to get a guy that wants to drive by with his big old loud truck. Just perfect timing. I don't know why they do that. Anyway, so the milestone satellite is for the 1100 tomorrow. Um, and then I want to jump into the Orleans here. 11 a.m. today, $600 Omaha 8 or better championship, $50,000 guarantee. And they have at 4 p.m. they kind of have an interesting event, $120 no limit 100 no limit hold'em 1K milestone bankroll builder. And then a 6 p.m. $200 no limit hold'em super stack, and then that's the $20,000 guarantee. The milestone bankroll builder is interesting because if you haven't played those, you get to a certain amount of chips and you're out of the tournament. So they're using those, as I understand, Sherry, for the
It'll
satellite.
be all the WSOP satellites will be milestone.
Yeah, which is kind of nice, right? Because you don't have to sit there the whole time. If you can, you know,
And what it has to be 10 times your original starting stack, and then you're leveled up automatically.
Yeah, so then you when you punch your ticket. So yeah, that's
Okay, Brian, I'm going to stop you for a minute and tell you you're cutting in and out and you're staticky. So if you could just go to your phone by itself, it'll probably be perfect.
okay.
Sorry,
Let me
bud.
see if I can adjust this. Yeah.
And while you do that, I'm going to talk about the Grand Poker Series, which is at the Golden Nugget, which is May 28th through July 1st. Today at 11 a.m. I'm sorry, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Omaha High Low, 8 or better. 15K guarantee. It's a $340 buy in. At 1 p.m. is their daily deep stack, a 25K guarantee. A 10-seat giveaway promotion is involved there, and it's a $200 buy in. At 4 p.m. is a invitational FPN mystery bounty. Again, that's an invitational only. So if you don't have an invite, don't show up. 7 p.m. is their nightly, and it's a $2,500 guarantee, and it is a $130 buy in. I'm going to go on to just point out that the South Point has several good things going on this summer as well. They have a nice daily schedule starting at 10:05 a.m., $100 no limit, 10K guarantee, 2:05 p.m., $100 entry fee, no limit turbo bounty, 3K guarantee, 6:05 p.m., $100 buy-in, no limit, Hold'em, a $7,500 guarantee, 10:05 p.m., $100 buy-in, no limit turbo, excuse me. It's a $2,000 guarantee. That's their schedule, daily schedule down at South Point through July the 14th. They also have a summer free roll for those that are in town or may be in town for several weeks and can do it. You qualify with 100 hours of live play, June 1st through August 31st, and you will be part of their $300,000 free summer free roll. So check their website out for more information about that. And South Point also has a tournament of champions this summer. Players winning a South Point daily tournament between May 24th and July 7th will be eligible to compete against all other champions in a one-day tournament for a prize pool of $50,000. Again, just go to the South Point Poker Room's website and get all the details. And go ahead, Brian.
I'm trying to find a little bit better location here, Terry. Um, I'm in Colorado today, so I'll be back in Vegas tomorrow evening. So hopefully at that point we'll be better set up. So is this any better or no?
It's kind of going in and out.
Okay. Let me let me just cut back to you, and I'm gonna try to go find a better spot.
Okay, and I'm going to go on to the Aria Poker Classic, which is May 29th through July the 13th. So on Wednesday, their kickoff day at 11 a.m., they're going to have an $800 pot limit Omaha mystery bounty. It is a $150,000 guarantee, 30-minute levels, 30K starting stack. And then I'm just going to also say that on Thursday at 11 a.m., they have a $600 pot limit Omaha, 100,000 guarantee, 30-minute levels, 30K starting stack. So that's at the Aria and part of their poker classic. So that's exciting stuff going on there as well. As soon as Brian figures out his technical stuff, he'll be back with the Venetian, and who else was he talking about? Oh, the Orleans schedules. Now, while he's doing that, I'm going to give some more fun facts today. Did you know, and this is according to DNEGS, last year had 774 players made the GG Poker Road to Vegas, cashing over 5 million in main event prizes. And this year they're hoping to send 1,000 players. So that's a great way to get yourself to the WSOP is on GG Poker's Road to Vegas. I'm going to continue on with some other things. In 2023, WSOP.com qualified more than 450 players into the main event, and they're hoping to exceed that figure this year. I'm going to just keep waiting for Brian, so I'm just going to keep filling time because we have several things we want to talk about. Don't forget, our friend Robbie Straczynski is partnering up with the Moneymaker Tour and is hosting a mixed game festival at the Bellage June 16th through 20th. And I'm sure it's going to be fantastic from what Robbie was telling us. And rumor has it that there's going to be some swag giveaways at that festival, so you don't want to miss that as well. I'm going to start. I really don't want to get into some of this without Brian here. Um, are you there, Bud?
Go ahead, Sherry. It's going to take me a
Okay,
couple
that's
minutes.
fine. I just wanted to point out that there were 559 entrants into the Tournament of Champions, which finished up in this past week. 100 of them took home some of the prize pool, but Dong Ming came out the champion, taking home $2 million and a beautiful gold bracelet. Definitely need to know that Ming won his seat into the Tournament of Champions by winning a flip and go tournament for 160K. So that's kind of a neat way to transport yourself into a $2 million win. Um, for those that may not know, Poker News is going to be running a leaderboard promotion during this WSOP. It'll be running May 28th through June 24th. Players participating in the daily deep stacks, and that's a buy-in price point. So either the $200 price point, the $250, or the $400. They all matter. You will earn points for playing in any of those events. Excuse me. The top 10 point earners each week will receive a complimentary ticket into the $600 Poker News Deep Stack Championship, which will be held on June 25th. Be sure to refer to Poker News media outlets for additional information. But I thought that was really cool that Poker News has put that together for us. Just a little reminder, we are trying to provide the most accurate and current information available, but we make no guarantees to such. So please make sure you do your own research and gathering of information as it applies to you, your plans, and goals. We're trying the best we can, but we make mistakes. We're only human. So definitely double check on websites or with the poker rooms themselves to make sure you have the correct information as it applies to you. Did you know, and I really, give me 1 second, folks. Um, there are just a couple of things I wanted to talk about when Brian was here, so I'm trying to just mark them in my notes so we don't get lost.
Flip around, Sherry.
Right.
We're still working on it. Give me a
Actually, you
couple
sound
minutes.
pretty good right now. You don't have the static and stuff cutting out. I don't know if that
I,
helps or not, but
I think it was the wind
oh, it
out
could have
there.
been.
So
It certainly could have been, and it was messing with your signal as well. So, um, are you ready to go on, or do you need me to keep filling?
let's try, and then if not ready to go, hop in the car and drive down the road. So
God bless you.
that's
All right.
right.
So you were telling us about the Orleans, I think, right?
I just done the Orleans. That's the one with the $120
Oh,
milestone
perfect. Tell us
bankroll.
about the
Real
Venetian,
quick,
Brian.
the Venetian, they're doing their Deep Stack series. Today's event, 11:10 a.m. starts. Don't ask me why they do an 11:10 a.m. start, Sherry, but they probably figure that people think 11 o'clock, and so they show up a little bit
Right.
early.
That's what they do, and
Anyway,
Orleans does the same.
uh, $1,100 today is day 1C of the MSTP $1,100 no limit hold'em, $500,000 guarantee. That's a 2 day event. So those are kind of nice. Give you the feel of a major event.
Keep the microphone by your mouth, dude.
Not carrying into a day three. And then Monday, May 27th, also at 2 o'clock. 12, event number 12, $600 limit Omaha 8 or better. That's also a 2 day. I'm sorry, that's a 2 day event, but it's the day two restart. I apologize for that. So they're going on to day two, and they come back at 2 o'clock today.
Okay, your sound is horrible. I'm sorry.
Okay, and that's what they got for today. So I'll go back to you.
Okay, work on that sound, dude. God bless Brian and his sound. He needs to carry his portable studio with him or just stay in the studio forever. Let's chat about, and I really wanted him to chat with us about the changes to the Player of the Year competition. But let's talk about the deep stack tournaments that are going to run May 28th through July 16th. The buy ins are going to be anywhere from $200 um, to $400, as I outlined a minute ago. In addition to the deep stack tournaments, there's going to be the daily landmark mega satellites. And those buy ins are going to be starting at $135 and topping off at $25,000. Mega satellites will now be played as landmark mega satellites where participants accumulate a certain amount of chips, example being 10 times the starting stack to win a seat into the respective event. The deep stack tournaments and the satellite tournaments will be in the Normandy room. And let me explain how to get to the Normandy room. If you're in the horseshoe and you are facing the poker room, to the right, about 30 feet, is a set of escalators. You're going to go up the escalators and follow the signage to the Normandy room. And that's going to be for the daily deep stacks and the mega satellites. And by the way, oh my goodness, we just had an Amber Alert, so I'm not sure where it cut off. So I'm just going to say, by the way, there is a cage in or near the Normandy room, and I'm going to give you a little hint. They're working on it so that you'll be able to buy in for any tournament at that cage. So that may be a hack for this WSOP to avoid lines. So you heard it here, folks. Normandy room cage. As soon as I find out for sure they're going to allow you to buy for all tournaments there, I'll let you know. Worth noting, anything you win less than $5,000 is not taxable, and you can take casino chips. Anything from $5,001 to 10K, you can do one of two things with your winnings. You can take casino chips along with a tax form to report your winnings, or you can buy into future tournaments, and that 10K can be split up into 10 $1,000 tournaments, or just one 10,000 tournament, or any combination adding up to 10,000 to avoid the taxes. So double check all that information. But that was my understanding in the great Kevin Math space yesterday. And I think that is really noteworthy, um, especially if you're going to be playing more tournaments. Why take the tax form? Just go ahead and roll it over to more buy ins. And I wanted to make special note for those that may be on a tight budget that there are definitely tournament budget meeting buy ins. Like I just said, there's going to be some mega satellites that start out at $135. Excuse me. But there is um, a $50 warm up to the Gladiator. And that is a great starting point, maybe even for a new player to kind of get their feet wet with playing a tournament at the World Series. It is unlimited entry, so you're going to have some people just going all in every hand. But I still think it's a great option for $50. It's a 12 p.m. start on June. I guess they're going to have it says looks like June 5th through June 8th, but they're one day events. Does that make sense? I'm not sure I'm reading that right. But anyway, double check that information. It is definitely a $50 buy-in, 12 p.m. starting time, and that is they warm up to the gladiators. So I think that's a great tournament buy-in price for a newbie, somebody their first WSOP and just want to get their jitters out. Um, so there you go, folks. Brian, you back with us, bud? I see a request, but I don't. Um, Brian, I think I'm gonna remove you first, Brian, from co-host, and then I'm gonna invite you back, and let's see if that is gonna help with the situation. Brian is enjoying the mountains of Colorado, and we all know there's not good reception in Colorado. I mean, the mountains, not just Colorado, anywhere in the mountains, anywhere. So we are trying to get him back up here, and let's see if we have been successful. Are you there, bud?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let's see if it continues to be a
Oh,
good thing.
it looks like I have good signal here. I'm in the car. I'm on my headset. So if that doesn't work, we can try the car. We can try the phone. Try it all. Hopefully it'll work.
One day, Brian will learn that if he just had good reception and his phone, that's all he needs. He makes it so complicated over here.
Know what the deal is. I had good reset. Anyway, I had it right until we clicked go on the spaces, and then the thing like started dying. I don't know. It's
And
the
I'm
space.
just kidding. It just is what it is. We don't sweat it.
It's the spaces nonsense. So, we got through the Venetian? I think so. We got through all the different hotels.
We
Oh,
did. Now let's talk about you know, they have added some events to the WSOP this year. So I'm just going to go over the names of them and what they are, and if there's any you want to comment on, please do. And I have the details if there's one that you're particularly interested in. So one of the new events is a seniors high roller no limit event, number 65. It's a $5,000 buy-in, 50K starting stack on June 26th.
I think that seniors are on fixed incomes, and there's very few people that are part of that, that pool.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. To me, I feel like they're only doing it because there's been requests for it. So I think it'll be interesting to see the numbers and see, like you said, can they afford it or not? Um, the next one would be event number 41, which is a mixed no limit pot limit Omaha double board bomb pot, 8-handed. Any comments on that? June 15th.
Sounds like a tournament that you do at Hollywood Park at 3 a.m. with several beers.
That or in Texas, because they
Uh,
love them bomb pots in Texas.
yeah, this does not sound like a bracelet event to me, Sherry. You might need an asterisk for this one along with the online events. Of course, as I always say, until I win the event, then it's
Well,
totally
we're going to talk about those online ones here in a minute. Let's get through this and then we're going to talk about that because I've got some news on that. So, another addition to the schedule, which I spoke about earlier, is the Poker News Deep Stack Championship. Event number 62 is a $600 deep stack, and Poker News is sponsoring or the headliner of that tournament. Any comments?
The Poker News. So Poker News is sponsoring. I saw that. Which event did you cut out there? I didn't hear you quite.
Sure, it's event number 62, and it's a $600 Deep Stack Championship on June
All that.
25th.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Like
I am too.
any of those sub 1000 events are ones that I have on my schedule that, and I notice that especially, I hate when they do the, oh, it's a small buy-in event, so we got to rush through it. No, I want a deep stack and a lot of play, and hopefully my
Absolutely.
edge comes out in that.
I think you're speaking on behalf of many players, especially those that are new to coming to summer camp. I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Another addition to the schedule is the Independence Day celebration, No Limit. Event number 80 is July the 3rd and July the 4th, a $800 buy-in starting stack of 40,000.
I mean, and again, a nice starting stack. The thing is, like, they they almost have too many options now, like in the sub 1000 price point. I went through my initial schedule. I think you and I were talking, and I had like 20 some $1,000 in buy-ins at sub 1000. I'm like,
Right, right,
this has to go down a little bit to, a
right.
lot of it, I mean,
No,
especially
I
if
hear
you're
you.
like 0 for 10, you can't just go 20K minus 20K, and I really don't want to go minus 10.
Well, and I misspoke. It's actually a new 3-day event. Flight A begins on Wednesday, July 3rd, Flight B on July the 4th. And so I just wanted to make sure I straightened that information out. Another new event added to the schedule is the $1,000 no limit hold'em during the main event, event number 82, has as flight 1D of the main event occurs on Saturday, July the 6th, there will be a $1,000 buy-in hold'em event at 7 p.m. that night. The 2-day event will contain a starting stack of 20,000. I like this edition. I rather have it at a smaller price point, but I understand why it's at 100,000 because all the big hitters are in town, so to speak. But there really isn't a lot of different types of tournaments going on when that main event starts. So I like that edition.
Yeah, it's $100,000 buy-in, you said?
No, $1,000 buy-in,
1,000. Okay.
$1,000
For
buy-in.
that. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that, like, I don't know, somewhere around 2010 they finally really got smart, started continuing on with the series, because you'd get to Vegas, you'd book your hotel for the 2 weeks, because who knows, you don't want to be in the main event trying to figure out housing. Um, and so you'd book it and then you'd have nothing to do. Uh, so I like that. I remember my first main event, 2005. I got knocked out at the end of day one, and here I am with the hotel for the week. And because back then Poker Stars gave you the hotel for the week, and then if you were still in, they would extend it. But so you were there for the rest of the week, watching
Right,
everybody as they got in their car to head over to the Rio, and you're just like, I don't know, it felt even worse. Like
right.
there's
No,
nothing
I
you
hear
could do.
I hear you. Another addition to the schedule is a $3,000, not three, yeah, $3,000 mid stakes championship. No limit event number 89 for players who bust out of the main event and want to remain as part of the high stakes action. This new 4-day event begins July the 11th with a $3,000 buy in and a starting stack of 40,000. So, those are the new events being added. Um, well, some of them, new events being added to the WSOP. Now, on July the 11th, there's a six-handed pot limit Omaha, which is a $1,500 buy-in. On July 11th, excuse me, it's the same day as this mid stakes championship. So, lots of fun new stuff happening. I'm going to be very curious as how that bomb pot tournament turns out and what people say about it because I think it's a interesting one to try at the WSOP.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I'm going to, before we go on to the player of the year changes, I just want to give a stat, which I found very interesting. In 2023, the WSOP main event had a record breaking number of entries of 10,043. And of course, we were watching it closely last year because they were giving away a main event seat for what was it, 10 years or 20 years?
I
So
think it was Lifetime.
or lifetime, I can't
Yeah.
remember. Anyway, so we were watching that number closely. So 10,043 entrants for $100,430,000 collected for entry fees and paid out in the prize pool. They paid out the prize pool of 93,399,900, collecting a rake of $7,030,100. Just thought I'd share that information. I sometimes when you look at the numbers, you got to just go, wait, what? Um,
Well, well. So the rake was less than the first prize, right?
seven, yeah, because first prize was 12 million. The rake was 7 million. So
That's
let's
always that's always crazy when you see that the casino made more than the first place.
right. Let's chat about the player of the year and talk about the changes to the competition, which are first of all, players will require, and I'm going to just, I hope Kevin Math listens to this later because somebody needs to go to the website. There's some grammatical and spelling issues there. I don't know who updated it, but anyway, um, players will require to have minimum of 5 results to qualify and be limited to their top points results with maximum of one online bracelet result. There you go, Brian. There's your, you only get one online bracelet result.
Yeah, yeah, but
Uh,
I feel like somehow this whole thing is I was gonna ask Andy Block. He made a comment on my post last night about it. And the big thing here, Sherry, is how does this change the perspective between, our WSOP and, Daniel Negreanu and his 20 buddies WSOP. So I've always been a big proponent of not necessarily either group being favored, but that, that I want it to be in a way that either group could win. And certainly, it takes, obviously many top finishes, finishing, 30th in a bunch of, you know, 30,000 player fields or whatever, like
well, and I
that doesn't
think,
get you there, but
right.
but
I think,
also winning a bunch of, 50 player fields, that doesn't really get you there either.
well, and for me, I'm just glad that the weight is taken off the online bracelets because
Yeah.
I don't believe they should carry the same weight. But I would be good with just weighing them less, but letting them all count. I would be okay with that. But I could also see from a data collection point of view, that's a lot of data to collect to get that, to get that winner. So I think there's a big, a big picture to look at. I do think this change is good. I'm not sure it's the solution yet, but I'm going to go ahead and finish.
There you are.
Sorry about that. I had another Amber Alert, which I thought I shut them
Oh,
off on my phone, but it must be Washington State. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue to read the changes made to the player year competition. So, first it was the 5 results, one online bracelet, top 10 points results. The second was heads up and shootout events. Players eliminated in the same round, example being fifth round through eighth place in a heads up event, or players eliminated on day two of a shootout, will receive the same points. The points awarded for those places will be the average of those points. The average of the points those places would have earned in the standard event. Number three, multi flight events featuring day one payouts. Some events, example, the closer, offer the opportunity to cash more than once. However, the player will only earn Player of the Year points once for each event, and the points earned will be based on the position in the final results. Number four, exclusions. The following no limit events will not count toward the Player of the Year. Event number 2, Casino Employee No Limit Event. Event number 46, the 1K Seniors No Limit Event. Event 59, the 1K Super Senior No Limit Event. Event number 65, the 5K Seniors High Roller. Event number 71, the Ladies Event. Event number 75, the Tag Team Event. Just an FYI, the Player of the Year will receive the following: a 2025 WSOP main event seat, unique trophy, and Player of the Year banner at the Paris/Horseshoe. Go ahead, Brian. Any comments?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big mistake here with the Player of the Year stuff is um, it's good and bad. Okay, so like them getting these high limit players to jump into the small field or the big field events, small buy-ins, right? I think that's a net positive for the WSOP because everybody, all these people that are going to the World Series especially for the first time, they want to play with Negrani, they want to play with Phil Hellmuth, they want to play with Sean Deeb and whoever else, like they want that experience. Now, if you're just talking pure Player of the Year, I like the idea as far as like integrity of, oh, this is an important prize. Um, I like the idea of being able to be sort of agnostic to what tournaments those 10 things come from and eliminate the edges to, play a smaller field that maybe is done quicker than larger field. And, evening those kind of things out. Not sure that it's possible though. Like, I don't think anybody necessarily has the answer. We'll certainly see
Brian,
with these changes.
we need you to keep your mouth near the microphone. Are you there? Are you there, Brian? Or did I lose you?
Oh, it went on mute. Can you hear
Oh,
me better
I
now or not?
yes, 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 yes. You were kind of going in and out, which kind of sounded like you're moving away from the mic sometimes. So, no problem. This too shall
Yeah.
pass. I just want to talk about a couple of things. One, um, I started to put all of our spaces interviews on YouTube for your listening pleasure. So you can go to my YouTube, Sherry Pluskota 9212. And I also want to talk about Brian's Twitch channel, which
Yeah.
he's streaming on Twitch and Spaces and YouTube, right?
Facebook, Twitter or X and Twitch.
Thank you. I knew there was a third one. It's Facebook. So
But,
tell
but, but,
us.
but we have a big announcement about that,
That's
Sherry.
what I was just going to let you do. Go ahead, bud.
I
That's
don't
exactly
I don't
where I'm
want
leading. Go ahead.
yeah, I don't want everybody to think we're not gonna announce what we're doing. So after thinking about it, so we're down to 4 players. So earlier this month, I
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
started.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah,
You have to name the players, of course, the
yeah,
winners.
I will. So let me take a step back, though. I realize maybe a lot of people don't know what we've been doing. We've been doing a variety of different qualifiers for a piece of my World Series. So all of the actual World Series events, I sent actual terms and conditions and stuff like that to everybody yesterday. We won't go through all of those, but suffice to say, if I'm not having fun, then the contest is canceled. Okay, so don't be a pain in the ass. Or whatever I decide to change, whatever. I reserve the right. It's a free roll and all of that. So, we went through and we played Jackbox games on my Twitch
Hate
channel.
that game.
And yeah, Sherry somehow magically was able to get through after like 16 try. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, baby JC was not cooperating
Yeah.
every damn time. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, and in all fairness, like, these guys, ASG kept Fanboy out. Otherwise, Fanboy would be in, and we'd have 5 qualifiers. So, what we're doing is ASG, Sherry, Snoop Dogg, and Avi are the last 4 in there. There's a total 5% available, and for time and fun, I've decided to divide that up by 1.25% each. So you're all in, and good luck us. And as it goes along, we'll talk, and hopefully we'll be winning a lot of money. You know, so
Good
um,
luck, us. Yay. Thank you, Brian. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, congratulations. Initially we were going to do a tournament and stuff like that, and all along I kind of felt like, man, it'd be nice if everybody got a little, something, rather than maybe one person getting 5% or one person getting, whatever. So everybody's in, and you're all, if you are listening to this, I don't know, as ASG is here and you're here, obviously, Sherry. So, make sure that to stay in touch with me on the thread there, and I laid out the specifics and stuff, how it's going to work, and stuff like that. I just don't want to drag out, like, if somebody goes MIA for 6 months or a year, that's not going to fly. So that's kind of the only thing on your end you got to do, is make sure that
So
uh,
don't pull a PPE. Stay in contact with Brian.
yeah, yeah. I should have given a percent to PP.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, thank you, Brian. That's a great contest. And I had fun doing it and supporting you. And
It's been fun.
it's been fun. And I brought up Isaac. And before, oh, she left. Okay, never mind. Isaac, what you got for us this morning before we move on?
Oh, I just wanted to come up here and give y'all your flowers. I love the information y'all were giving out. And just saying good morning from Albuquerque. I'm on my way to Dallas. Been driving for like 13 hours. Gonna see if I go maybe do a little playing at the lodge. And yeah. Like I said, just coming up to say what up, good morning, show some love.
Run
Well,
it at the
thank
lodge
you.
and get on the plane and get to Vegas.
Actually, that's the plan on the way back. I'm just coming to drop off something for an activation that's happening out here for a client. And then I'm trying to just boom myself back to Vegas and hopefully spend the night in Vegas before I go back to LA. So I might be pulling up on y'all. So
Well,
Excellent.
we look forward to it. Thank you for the flowers. And I'm going to
always.
ask you to do me a favor when you get to the lodge. See if you can get me 2 of their patches. I need patches, 2 patches.
You know what? I might do that just to do that, okay? I'll let you know.
Yes, I love you for it. Don't
Okay.
forget to reach out to my the gal that I, told you about.
Oh yeah. The one you sent me the link for. Yeah, because I tried to copy the link by saving the picture, and unfortunately the link is broken somehow, so I
Okay.
couldn't see the listing. So yeah, I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah, for sure. They're waiting on you. Okay, bud.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and safe travels and good luck at the lodge.
Appreciate you.
Keep
Appreciate you both. All right.
Yeah, keep us updated, bud.
I will. I will.
Oh, I see Becca has rejoined us. I'm going to send you an invite, Becca. Um, since you have so much to say about what I'm doing or not doing, let's have a little conversation about it. Okay. Um, if you can't click on that invite, just go ahead and put a request in that bottom left corner and we'll get you up here to speak. Moving right along, I wanted to talk about something I decided to do this summer that I thought maybe would be fun for all of us to follow along with. And I might find a way to kind of give back to those that are listening to our spaces on a daily basis. And I just need to think about how I'm going to go about it. But I bought some pieces, staking pieces on um, one player and two of the fantasy league teams, and I want us to like keep up with those this summer. I think it'll kind of be fun. Tonight is the draft of the fantasy teams, and it's going to be at Poker Go. And I want to say it's at 5 p.m. tonight Pacific time, which of course is 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, excuse me, I thought it would be fun for us to follow along this summer. So, let me tell you that first of all, I made it into the 3 or 4 minute window before it was all sold out to get a piece of D-Negs for this summer and his package. He has a $1.8 million package and he only sold 25% of it. So we're going to sweat D-Negs together. Hopefully he'll be a winning player this year. One of the two teams that I have bought a piece of is the NGNF team, which is Jeff Platt. Um, so that'll be one of the fantasy teams we will watch. And then the other fantasy team I got a piece of is Team Lucky. And I'm not sure if it's Deeben is head of that or Josh Aria is the head of that team. But I got a piece of them too. So this summer in our space, every morning we're going to kind of um, follow along and see where those stakes are going. And I might try to get a little creative about giving away some if we actually win some. So, anyway, there we are. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I actually got a piece of Team Lucky too, which Sherry, that comes with an honorary membership into Team Lucky. So, I'm counting on at least 2 or 3 bracelets this summer.
I love it. Hey, spaces run good, Team Lucky. It all sounds like good to me.
It seems like it's all meant to be, right? I mean,
I
you know,
think if you're superstitious, like all poker players are, it is definitely meant to be.
well, I'm not superstitious, but I'm totally superstitious.
All right, Brian, tell us what you're doing this summer camp because I know you've been tweaking your plans. So tell us what you're doing.
Well, we went out and bought a ton of equipment yesterday for the vlog, and I'm going to be shooting at least some vlogs this summer and doing things as it goes along. As the series goes along, we make adjustments all the time. But it's been fun on the Twitch channel. At the breaks, I've replayed some of the ones from I think it was 2017 when I brought an actual video guy. The video guy is actually my daughter this year. Uh,
Good. So,
so
what is your schedule, dude?
so I am gonna play Wednesday is my first event, the kickoff, and then I'm not sure if I'm gonna play this weekend's event, which is the bounty, correct? I believe.
I could look it up. Hold on, I've got the printout for you. But are you talking about on Saturday or what?
Yeah,
Um, let's see. On Saturday, there's a Mystery Millions.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna play that. Um, I think it's an $1,100 buy-in, so it's right,
It's $1,000 buy-in, 40K
right.
starting stack, 30/40 minute blind levels.
So I'm not crazy about the buy-in, about the bounties, and kind of this year, there's so many sub $1,000 events that I'm not going to, at the end, give up a Colossus bullet or whatever for, or two Colossus
Right,
bullets
right.
plus for that. So I'm probably gonna skip that event. I'm definitely playing the one, like I said, Wednesday, the $500. I love that. It's a freeze out. Not a lot of times do you get a freeze out in a sub 1000 at the World Series. I don't know that it ever happens. So that's kind of nice if you like that kind of thing.
Right.
Skipping Likely skipping the mystery stuff over the weekend, and really my first event back that I can't miss. Let me just scan through here. That well it that I don't well it's really hard. So June 5th there's an $800 deep stack, which I like I said before, I love. I think I can make that Wednesday. Yeah, so it gets done Thursday. Um I have potentially an important event, family event Friday. So that is that one's a little up in the air, but if I can be there for the 800, I'm gonna play that.
Okay.
Uh, and then and then coming back over the weekend is the Gladiators.
Right.
Uh, so if I do have to do Friday, um, then I guess the Gladiators. I thought there was a Saturday. There's a Saturday? Yeah, there's Saturday and Sunday flights of that. So I would definitely do the $300 Gladiators after that, and then potentially the $1,500 freeze out the following Monday. But again, I'm not gonna, that kind of is a play by ear. If I'm cashing a lot and playing well, it's one thing if you're cashing a lot and you're just like luck boxing it in, then I might not. But Thursday, the June 13th, is another $800 deep stack, so another one that I don't want to miss. And then the following weekend is the $1,500 monster stack. So that one's a good one. But again, I'm trying to go for the sub 1Ks in this. So that one would definitely be like, I would say a B on my schedule. I'm sadly, Sherry, old enough to play the seniors event this year. So I tentatively have two bullets kind of in my mind for
Listen,
that.
when you qualify for the super seniors, you can be sad. Until then, fuck off with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm saying that in
Yeah, no, I
fun.
know. Just kidding.
But you know what I couldn't help but notice, and for those of you that have joined us last year when we started all this daily coverage, um, Brian did not mention he's playing a Raz tournament, and we promised everyone that we were going to learn how to play Raz to play it this
I knew
summer, and
this was
neither
coming.
of us have picked up one card on a Raz table, just for the record.
Every time I go to do that, I picture David Baker coming back from a half a big blind, and I'm reminded of how stupid it would be to try to compete against that guy.
Yeah, but at the same token, doesn't it give you hope that, hey, even when I don't have a stack, I can come back and win this thing? I
The
mean,
cra-
it's two
the cra-
ways to look at that.
the crazy thing about Raz, Sherry, like especially, I don't know if you've ever played it online, especially like a low,
No,
buy-in.
I've not played it online. I have played it like twice in person for like
So
2 hours.
I don't know that I've ever played it in person, but I played back in the day. I remember playing on Poker Stars, these low buy-in Raz tournaments. And the crazy thing is, you're looking at the guy's cards and you're like, all he has to do is look at the cards he can see, and there's no way he can win. What is he doing? What is he doing betting? You know?
All right.
Like the cards that are on the table are enough to tell you there's like zero way that you can win this hand. The guy's got like a king and a queen, you know, showing, and you're just like, what are you doing in this hand? They're trying to bluff you though. They're trying to bluff you.
Hell yeah, they're trying to bluff you. I wanted to go over something that we talked about pretty regularly on a daily basis, and then we probably every couple of days I started to mention it, and that is some of the things that will help your experience at the WSOP. And one of those things is to take pictures of certain things that may come in handy in your life when you're there. And one of the pictures that we recommend you take is of your entry ticket, including any day 2, 3, or etc. tickets. So if anything, you lose your ticket, leave it on the nightstand, you have a picture of it on your phone. The second thing we recommend you take a picture of is of your chip stack before you leave the table, because dealers may be chipping up and may make a mistake, and you don't have any proof unless you took a picture before you left the table. The third thing would be to take a picture of your table number. What table number? Why? Because during breaks, dealers change. So you can't say, oh, there's my dealer, there's my table. And let me tell you, people have done that, and people have started playing
It's
other
so
play
embarrassing.
right, other player stacks, and it creates a big mess. And Brian's correct, it's embarrassing. So
No, I mean, so you know what they do is they're like, "Hey, everybody, look over here at this guy. He's an idiot." Basically, they don't say that, and doesn't know where his table is. Do any of you recognize him?
that's right. They sometimes say it over the loudspeaker, right? And you're
Oh,
all,
they usually do.
yeah,
A thousand
yeah.
people are looking at you like you're an idiot. Not from personal experience, obviously, Sherry.
Yeah, you know way too many details about that, Brian, but we're going to keep on moving. The fourth thing would be take a picture of your car and its parking spot in the parking deck, or take a picture of the deck information that you're parked on. So 12 hours from now, when you've won your gold bracelet and you're in in euphoria, and you go out to the parking deck and you're like, where the hell did I park my car? $12 million later, you can certainly Uber where you need to go to, but you some point where you're going to need to go back to your car. So take a picture of your parking spot info. So those would be the pictures that you need to take while you're at the WSOP. Just
and
go
and
ahead.
don't that picture of your car, look at it before you leave for the parking lot. Don't be looking at your phone in the parking lot. Get to your car and get out of there. With any
Safety.
casino that you go to, I haven't heard as many problems since they've moved over. Every year at the Rio, we would hear somebody getting robbed in the parking lot. I would advise not carrying cash around. There's no reason. You can go and set up
Make
your
right.
TBIC account. Then you don't even have to go wait in line. You just go to the kiosk and print out your thing. Unless the kiosks aren't working, then you're like, why am I doing
There,
this?
we're going to pretend like everything's perfect. You go to the kiosk, print your slip, and you're going to get three of them. And Kevin Mathers, spoke about
Yes,
this yesterday. Make sure you get all three copies, because one of them goes to the dealer and it happens to print out third. So when you go to the
yes.
table, you got to have that one for the dealer. And if you don't, you're going to have lots of issues trying to recover where the hell that ticket is. So be sure to
Be
get all three
patient.
copies.
Be
Yes,
patient and wait for the third one for
right,
sure. So many people, like, you're standing there, you're like, hey, buddy, get back.
right.
So don't be that guy either.
And you know what? I wanted to add something about those kiosks. For those that don't know, when you're looking for your write offs for your taxes, your WSOP buy ins are not going to be on your win loss record that you can go on to Caesar's website and print your win loss record. Those WSOP buy ins are not listed on that win loss record. You actually have to print from those kiosks at the WSOP um, your WSOP buy-in record. So you need to do that when you're at the WSOP if you need that information for your taxes. It's just easier to do it like on your last day there than try to track that information down like January 1st of the next year. So just a little
Yeah,
bit of
I didn't know that,
information.
Sherry. That's a
Yeah.
great tip.
Yeah, that because I know people are trying to track that down tax season. It's a nightmare. So just print it before you leave Vegas, people. Brian, let's do a WSOP bag check.
Okay.
What should we put in our backpack for the WSOP? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. This is a huge thing because you get there and you don't know if you're going to be there, 5 minutes like me, or,
or 12 hours, and you want to have everything with you. If you're a headphones person, then make sure that you have the headphones. I would tell you too, though, with the headphones, like, you're giving up a lot of information necessarily. You're never going to walk by and it's never going to be that you, how can I say this right? It's definitely possible that you'll walk by and see me with headphones on, but most of the time I won't. And there's various reasons why, at times I might just put my headphones on and whatever, but for the most part, you're giving up a lot of information. So, but if you need headphones, make sure those are in the bag. I always try to pack some kind of nuts or something that I can put in my stomach.
Protein.
Yeah, I eat very little when at the breaks and things. I don't want to get weighed down. But besides that, like, you can't necessarily control that during the break you're going to go over and there isn't going to be a huge line to get what you want to get. So, you don't want to be sitting there stressing out. Some kind of snack that can get the hunger pains to go away, some kind of drink. I get it that they're walking around there with water and whatever, but first I remember one time we were there really late, and they were like, oh, the servers, they sign off at whatever time. So you don't that's the time where the money's the seriousness, you're worn down, all that. Have the things that you need at your disposal right there. The last thing is definitely a jacket. You have no idea when you walk in there, it's 115 degrees outside, but 10 o'clock at night when the room's empty and you're in there and the big money's on the line and you're freezing, you don't want to be thinking about that. You want to, like, have a hoodie or whatever. And you really don't want to be the guy that goes and buys the World Series of Poker hoodie that's like your first time that you've ever been there. That doesn't build credibility with your table. So not that I've been there from personal experience. So I say all this stuff, Sherry, and my first live play of the year, I met Blue over there at Commerce last weekend for the seniors event, and I walk in and I'm like, crap. I not only did not bring a bag, Sherry, I did not bring one thing, no headphones, no
What
snack,
a rookie.
jacket. Yeah, so I just went about halfway into the day one, and then just punted it because I knew that I wasn't prepared to go all the way.
Now,
Just
how did I miss that you met Blue for the tournament? How did
yeah,
I miss that? That's awesome.
yeah, and I can't remember. She did something where they had to call the floor, and she won a massive pot. Like, this was like really early in the
Awesome.
tournament, and she's just kicking it. She's so funny.
She
She's
is hilarious and she is such a crusher. But I want to go back to the bag check because I have a couple of things to add.
Yeah.
Uh, First of all, Brian, don't be so naive to think that people are not using those earplugs and their phone as a amplifier of the sound at the table.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a really good point, Sherry.
Because I have had some people at my table doing that. Also, I suggest some chapstick in that bag because it's so dry in Las Vegas. So don't
Yeah.
forget your chapstick. And I also recommend Lunchables if anybody knows what those are. It's just a small serving of usually cheese and turkey,
Yeah, just seems to be
ham,
getting your stomach.
nuts, something, just a small snack. So I think those are great things to add to your backpack or your bag. Did you have anything else?
What was the first thing you just said there? You were saying
A chapstick.
chapstick. Yeah, that brought up the idea too. Like, it might sound funny for those of you that have been to the World Series, like, you get it. Every 2 hour there's a bathroom break. And the lines are not, they're better at the Horseshoe in Paris, but you know, you definitely don't want to have to be running for the restroom every 20 minutes. So, you know, you want to what Sherry's saying is kind of important too, right? It sounds stupid, right? Like you don't want to dry out, but you also don't want to overdrink, and you don't want to be hungry, but you don't want to overeat. So that's really kind of the good thing about having stuff with you, and you can kind of monitor that on your own, and just have what you need, and you can focus on the game and not where's the server, where can I get something to eat. And by the way, like they've got a real problem with the food there anyway. So like to me it's one of the biggest things. I don't know, maybe this will finally be the year that they fix it, but the problem is that the convention services people, they control any food that comes in or out of there. So all that food is based on whatever they they make. And quite honestly, it's really overpriced. I don't think it was great quality to me. Um, I've talked to Jack about doing something different, but pretty much from what he says, and understandably in
The
doing,
union. It's actually the union. The union. The union.
yeah, in doing conventions at that location myself, I know you can't just do what you want when it comes to food. You have to go through them, and to go through them you don't have really a lot of control. So
Well, and I'm going to tell you, and I've said this last year, and those that have been listening and know that it's okay. I have no problem with that. The union stepping in and saying, "Hey, All American Dave's can't serve here because this is a union operated food service area." I have no problem with that at all. If you're replacing his amazing food and service, but what
yeah,
they did is they eliminated the competition and they provide barely anything for us. And what they do provide is overpriced and not that great. So I am really hoping, if not this year, in the next couple of years, that they really get their act together on that, and do something for the players. We have, what did I say, 200, over 200,000 entries, and we can't get good food service. Yeah, let's do better, folks. Come on.
yeah, it's pretty hard. And All American Dave, I genuinely liked the guy. I liked the food. He's a friend of mine. A lot of people were mad at him. Part of the problem was his business just went out of business, honestly.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, because of COVID, and how that all worked out, and the big mistake, for those of you that have been around, is Dave would carry over your meal plan every year. I mean, he would not, he would like, there would be times where I would kind of not even order anything from him for a couple of years, and I'd come back and he'd be like, "Oh, you're still good, you still got it," and whatever. And I always thought, man, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to carry forward. Use it or lose it, and be done. Or maybe have different packages where you'll keep some. But I feel really bad for the guy because a lot of people were really just mean, and
Yep.
my sense, they're calling him a scammer, and that, my sense, no way, he's a nice guy. Maybe made some bad decisions in business and whatever, but
Well,
that's
and
business.
let's not forget that stupid COVID had people trying to scramble to save their families, right? And understandably so, that has to be their first priority. And who would have thought that the scam, now we know some of the stuff that they did to us during Rona was so scammy and disgusting, but put small mom and pop businesses out of business. And for those that don't know, all American Dave's concept was he had a food truck that came and parked outside of the WSOP. You can put an order in, put your table number, and the order would be delivered directly to you at the poker table. What a great concept.
And it was all good food. It was like
Yes.
you go on a total healthy kick during your World Series and have everything that you need nutritionally, and all of that, and it was really convenient, and it's
Right. And
unfortunate.
right. And what would happen? So say I as a player would deposit, say, $1,000 for the summer. Then during the summer, he just debited that account every time I ordered food, and the food would show up to my table. If I knew Brian was playing, I may want to send Brian some food, or I know Brian likes that crazy drink at the Bellagio. If they had it at the World Series of Poker, I
So
may just have some fun and send Brian one of his favorite drinks, right? And
Spock
so
could
the
just his the food was expensive. It was like $20 or $25, something like that. And he had to buy 20 meals. That was the deal.
There you go. And guess what? It's delivered hot to you at your table. I think that's a great, what a great concept. And, it's unfortunate that, he went under. It's just very unfortunate. And he's provided a great service. And like I said, I wish Horseshoe Paris would do something as great as he did. Because they have the staff, they have the kitchens, they're on site, they can do it. So anyway, Donna, go ahead, love.
Hi.
Good
I just
morning.
want to say congratulations on your second year of doing this.
Thank you.
I know it's a lot of work and a lot of information needs to be given out, and that you're doing an awesome job. And get off your soapbox.
Who would I be if I wasn't on my soapbox at least one time?
I know, my darling. That's why I put my hand up. I thought, oh, shit.
That's a gold-plated soapbox, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm just speaking on behalf of the players, right? We want good food.
Of course.
Yeah,
And I
it's a
totally
big
agree.
issue. It's a big issue, and that's why bring your own stuff if you can. So for sure.
I
Well,
love
thank you
it.
and good luck for this year. For
Well,
this
thank you, lovely.
WSOP. I'll be with you as much as I can. I was doing my tea and eating. Then I got a message and I thought, oh, crikey. So, yeah, I'm here supporting, as always.
Thank you, lovely. I appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely, Donna.
I wanted us to touch on, and just as fast as I thought about it, it's gone out of the brain because I started to read something else and got distracted. Does that sound familiar, Brian?
Hey, I'm on my ADD meds today, so we're all good.
That is so funny. Oh, let's talk about traffic and transportation for a minute. For those that don't know, the monorail does stop at Horseshoe. So if you don't have the, free parking at the Horseshoe, but maybe you have it at the MGM because of your status or whatever, you could always park at the MGM and take the monorail over to the Horseshoe, would be one way to get around it. I guess the parking rate at the Horseshoe on a daily basis is $21. On the weekend, it is $25. And you need platinum status or higher to get free parking. So there you go. Traffic. I heard yesterday from Kevin that there's going to be some road work. So we'll keep our ear to the ground as far as how that's going to affect around the Horseshoe.
I would anticipate it, but my but from what I've seen, it's better than last year. Um, but but definitely the monorail is what really saved things, pretty made things a lot easier in getting there. Leave early. It doesn't. I mean, the other thing too is when with not just with the World Series, but any poker tournament, if you're late, like I mean, I don't like to be late for I like playing shorthanded at the beginning, super deep stacked. I love that. So, I want to be there on time. But if I'm not, don't let that carry over to the table, where you're frustrated and whatever. I mean, as long as you get in, just, play your game. There's so many people you see walk up to the table and they're just not in the mindset because of whatever happened on the way there. And, it's you're no matter what, you're spending a lot of money to get into that event. It's really easy by the end of the summer, if you're firing every day, that you're just like, oh, this one's just whatever. It just don't treat any of them like that. Like, I don't care if you're used, you're playing, 5Ks every day, and you jump into a $300 tournament. Take it just as serious. It's another opportunity to win a bracelet, and another opportunity to win a lot of money. So, um, if anything, it's hard to go back after the series and play some of these events where you're like, I'm buying in for $500, and first prize is only half as much as it was last week. So just make sure that you the other thing too is make sure that you're having fun too. Like, how many people you walk around there, Sherry, especially that have been there for weeks on end, that they're just burnt. If you're burnt, like, take
Go,
some days off or
yeah,
whatever, but like,
go take a hike, go bowling, go to a
yeah,
movie, go take a, go
don't
to
go
lunch
waste
with
your money.
friends.
And the other thing too, like, when I don't know, it's up for myself, right? I've never done good at like running really deep an event and then super late regging the next event. It's just like, that just isn't a good thing for me. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, but for me, it's never been a thing where I've done really well. So if there's things like that, like, be honest with yourself, more than anything, is like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and just
What's your
focus on
current
your game.
mindset?
And in the end, it doesn't matter who sits down at your table either. Like, obviously be aware of that, going to battle with Eric Seidel out of position probably wasn't the smartest thing that I ever did. But certainly don't be overwhelmed, I'm saying, by whoever it is, because they have to play the same game.
They're
Um,
sitting at the same table as you are. Don't
yeah,
ever forget that.
and don't take anybody's shit either in them telling you how you should have done something or whatever. And don't here's the last piece of advice: don't freaking tell anybody anything about, like, why you did whatever, or why you should have done something, or why did they do something. Like, just keep your mouth shut and observe and pay attention to what they're doing, and obviously critique your own play to a certain extent, but but don't critique it out loud. People that suck out on a hand, they think that they've got to, like, somehow justify that to the table. You don't have to justify that to the table. Let them continue to think you're an idiot, like, whatever they want to think. Like, it's great, like, that's fine. Think that I have no idea what I'm doing. There's been times where mathematically I was like 100% correct to do what I was doing, and I'm getting berated by this guy who doesn't understand that, you know that what I saw in what he was doing made it obvious that the math said call, and that kind of thing, right? Like,
Right.
I call with Jack high against the guy in the shootout, and he's just flabbergasted, like, what the heck. But it's like, well, yeah, you were completely, I was just worried you didn't have queen high, or something.
Right. Ace high.
So,
Right.
I mean, your bluff catcher does have to be a catcher, Sherry. It's not
That
just
happened to
about.
me like 2 weeks ago. I was in this hand, and this kid was one of these young guns who thinks that, after the hand over, he's telling everyone that he knows what they did or
Yeah,
played or what their cards were. It's never before the hand's over. He's 100% after the hand is over, telling us what our cards were, blah, blah, blah. And I got into a hand with him. I had ace queen and ended up being four diamonds on the board. And I thought I had the queen of diamonds. And so when he bet the river, of course I called. I have a queen high um flush.
flush.
And we both turned over our cards and he has a 10 high flush. But unfortunately, I had the queen of clubs. I
Right.
just totally misread my hand. And he went ballistic about, I can't believe you called, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? I never told them I misread my hand.
Yeah,
I
and it's
want him to think that he's a genius. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, dude. I misread my hand, but you keep on spinning up your story of how you knew this, blah, blah, blah. Why did she call? That was crazy, blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever, dude. I never
yeah,
told them I misread my hand.
yeah. You why give him that information? You know,
Right.
there's no reason. There's also no reason to show your cards ever, really. Like, I mean, I can think of one time I did it, and I did it because we were in the main event, level one, and was just going into the break, and I didn't know I was bluffing with pocket queens on the flop on an 8 high flop, but I was, because he had pocket kings. The guy sat there for 15 minutes trying to think of what to do, and then he folded. And I knew that if I showed him, that he would lose his mind and probably be giving away chips from there. And I was right. Within, the next level, he was gone, because he just completely lost his mind that
Right.
he didn't miss the opportunity to knock me out in the first level and double up.
Right
So
on.
just keep it to yourself for the most part, though, and don't give them the reasoning why you did what you did, especially in that situation. That's a perfect situation not to describe what you were thinking or why you did. There's no need to justify. You paid the buy-in, and this isn't like the training center for telling them why you chose to do whatever you did. You may be playing on a different level than that person, and now you're teaching them what your thinking was into why you did what you did. So
100%.
let
Now,
let
I
him be
will.
completely confused.
Look, I will show my card or cards if I know it's going to jab them, right? If I know that, if especially one card, they're talking blah blah blah, and I'll show them the card that doesn't matter, and I'll say that's the card you have to beat, right? And they look
Right.
at a two of hearts and they're like, "How do I need to beat that card?" Blah 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 blah. Yeah,
I
go
mean, I
ahead.
think I think Sherry, this too is where it does come into play who you're playing. If you're playing Chance,
Yes.
if you're playing against Chance Cornathan, the guy's a super pro at live reads. I mean, I've sat next to him, on the rail, and heard his thinking and just gone, "Oh my gosh, like, you see this like that? Like, don't show that guy anything. Do not.
Right on.
Like,
Right
do not,
on.
especially not him. But generally, just have the rule, like, I'm not going to show anything. That's the best rule to have."
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Now, I want to make mention that on Friday, we're going to have Sean McCormick on our 4:30 p.m. Pacific time space. Sean McCormick, the poker boss, is going to join us, and I'm sure we're going to talk about the Aria Classic tournaments series that's going to go on this summer.
And
Um,
and Sherry, Sean promised that if I win one of those, he's going to hand deliver the trophy to my house. So,
Wait, did you tell him it had to come with one of those drinks?
oh, that's a good
Come on,
negotiating
Brian.
tactic.
Come on. But
I
we're going
better
to have
not play an event before Friday.
we're going to have a couple of special guests during that space, which should liven things up and make them fun and make it more fun than it already is. So that's going to be Sean McCormick at 4:30 Pacific on Friday.
Else?
I'm sorry, say that again, Brian.
I said anything else, Sherry?
I don't. Any listeners that have any questions or comments, now is the time to request in that bottom left corner. Donna, you have anything to add? She may be
No, just
drinking tea.
sorry. No, I'm just looking forward to the dailies and looking forward to hearing Sean McCormack and finding out who these two surprise guests are.
Should be fun.
I'm sure it will be. I think
Should
he's quaking in his boots a little bit because he doesn't know who it is. I says, well, I says, you never know your luck.
Right on. All right, Jonathan, I'm going to let you go ahead, Jonathan, as soon as you connect, bud. And Brian, I got your text.
Excellent.
Yeah, this might be a question for Kev Math, but I was wondering on those milestone satellites, on the structures, they all say, 10x your starting stack to get a seat. So, for instance, like the main events landmark satellites, it don't matter whether it's a 580 or the 1100 or the 2K. Or like the 2K is 1 in 5, and the 1100 is 1 in 10, and the 580 is 1 in 20. But all of them say 10x starting stack. So is
Yeah,
that accurate?
yes, it is accurate. But I think he was, I don't know if you listened to him yesterday, but I think he was just trying to um, make sure people just check that information themselves when they go to play one of those. But I read all the structure sheets yesterday. I kind of skimmed through them, and I didn't see not one that didn't say 10 times the starting stack. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to me. 'Cause, you would think like the 580s, it would be 20x starting stack since it's 1 in 20 that get a seat, or the 2K, you would think it'd be, 5x starting stack. So that's interesting.
It is interesting. I'm going to be eager to see by the end of the summer if they make any changes to that or if they stick with it and it's a huge success. I'm anxious about that
So
one.
they're probably just adjusting the starting stack size, right, guys? Is that
Uh,
right? Does that work?
I
I
don't
don't know.
remember. I don't want to say yes or no because I
Yeah,
looked at it yesterday.
I will go figure this out when I can. I won't know it by tomorrow, but certainly by Wednesday for sure. Maybe we can get Kev Math to give us a little kind of detail
And
on.
Kevin said he was going to try to stop in our morning show as often as he can. So hopefully that will take place because we always love when he comes and not only helps us because we're disseminating a lot of the information he provides, and that's no secret. And we appreciate him, and don't forget to tip him, you guys. But I'm going to bring up ASG, and hopefully Kevin will join us often in these morning sessions. Go ahead, ASG, as soon as you connect, bud.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about what Jonathan just said. I'll pin the tweet. I guess they still haven't fixed it, but yeah, he was aware of it. He said, "I'll need to talk to someone to get a few modified. They should have noticed the proofing of these structures beforehand." So I guess they still
Okay,
haven't fixed it.
all right.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you for that, ASG. It takes a village to get all this information out for sure. There's a lot of things that are changing, especially when it comes to new stuff they're trying. It evolves all summer long until they get it the way they think is the best. So appreciate that information, ASG.
And every year they make adjustments. People have, comments. Hopefully they give those comments in a constructive way because they definitely want your feedback. They don't want just to, listen to Daniel Negreanu tell them what they should do, but everybody, especially like Negreanu, he's playing a whole different set of events. So, so your experience may be much different than his, and giving those comments are really important, especially if you're doing it in a constructive way, not just getting on social media and like, first off, Jack doesn't read social media. He doesn't have an account, so does very little to complain on social media. But he's always walking around and always very approachable. As with anybody else, like Bob, I think is going to be there, and a bunch of other people. But like any of those people, especially if you have a question during the game, like I mean, I don't think anybody is afraid to call the floor. If you know the right ruling and somebody is doubting it, and you guys have, you know, you want to, I mean, just help the other person out and say, hey, it's fine to call the floor, like and ask the question to make sure that it's done right because
Well, and I'm going to interject here for a minute. And don't let the dealers, sometimes they kind of like steamroll somebody questioning something. Don't let them steamroll you. Say, no, I need the floor called. And, if it's still going on, when it's your turn, just stop play. Just stop playing. Say, look, I'm not playing this hand until the floor is called and we get this settled. Don't be afraid to take that initiative. It's in your right, of course it is. And sometimes the dealers are new and don't know better. So there's lots of reasons why it happens, but don't let it happen to you. By all means, call the floor, help yourself or someone else out. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, sorry. Of course, you're going to have moans and things like that, but you try running and organising a massive event such as WSOP. There's lots of logistics to it, and you as a player do not know what goes on behind the scenes.
It's absurd. It's absurd, Donna. Thinking about how they move those tables around, like they'll have an event starting and they've got to like clear out an area and break tables down, and then they've got to have dealers come in and it's just, and they're doing the color ups and everything else, like the orchestration behind having events start, and then they've got breaks that are staggered out so that they're not over, like it's an unbelievable set of permutations to take into these calculations of how they structure the thing, and they are really, really honestly pretty good at it now.
It's so impressive.
But just remember, there's more to the background information than just being a player, as I know. And I know that it's like you're a swan swimming and it looks so calm on top, but underneath your little legs is going tent it doesn't, because you're sorting problems out from players constantly. And
Right.
they'd rather hear constructive criticism than somebody saying, oh, well, I lost this to this hand, blah, 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 one thing, another, or something that's maybe not as important to them, but we understand it's important to you, obviously, but just don't go to them with minor trivial things. If you've got something constructive to say to them, say it.
Well, and I would say too, Donna, like whatever is fine to go with them with, but also pick your time. Like if you've been given a ruling in the moment and that ruling is kind of like final, obviously if it's completely out of bounds, then you want to question and whatever. But you know, I'm talking like whatever, even not just a ruling, but like whatever. It would be nice if they scheduled the servers a little later or something. Like that isn't something that Jack needs to be dealing with during the main event final table or something like that. Maybe, wait until, a better time. Like I like to stack up some of my comments, and then when I see him in the hall and he's not like running from place to place, that's, we'll end up in a conversation about whatever, and then that's when I bring it up. So be sensitive to the fact that these guys got a million things going on at the same time. They're trying to give you good customer service, but that's where a lot of the complaints come. They're in a rush and somebody's wanting to tell them something that's like massively less important than what they're dealing with right then, and they're trying to give that customer service attitude, but maybe give it in a pretty rushed or non-customer service way. It's like just have some empathy for the fact that they're dealing with a really complicated event.
Don't forget, there's not only Jack on that team, Brian.
Well,
there's other people too that they could actually go up to. So it's not only Jack.
100%. And those people, a lot of times I'll tell KevMath a lot of things that I think about, because I know that, he's getting the information from all these people, so he can definitely filter those things to them. And two, if you tell KevMath, a lot of times he'll give you some more of the the underlying information of why you're not seeing why they chose to do something in a certain way or whatever. Or he'll tell you, yeah, it's something, it's always a problem, we've been talking about it and whatever. So he can sometimes maybe even give you more insight than Jack would. That's a great point, Donna.
Yeah, that's what I do at MPF. I'm like sort of like a firefighter. Everybody comes up to me if they've got questions or if they've got a problem, then I sort it out for them. If I can't sort it out, then I take it further. And that's why I'm known and people come up to me and tell me things. They might not come up and tell somebody else, but because I'm so approachable, according to some, they tell me anything.
Right on.
So please be careful what you comment. Even if it's a bad beat, they don't want to hear it.
Right. People are working really hard to put this event on, as well as all the series in town. And, cut them some slack. Know that it's a busy time for them. They're doing the best they can on our behalf, right? And we just have to be mindful, especially with our new dealers that are going to be at the WSOP and other series. We have to just help them. Don't make them more nervous by being snarky with them or calling them out with stuff. When I see a new dealer, I just start talking to them in a low voice, encouraging them, watching the pot to make sure that they're doing correct with the chips and the change and whatever. And when I see, okay, that change is wrong, I'll just say very quietly, okay, check that again. Check that again. Um, but be supportive of those folks. We want them to become good dealers so we don't have dealer shortages. And they have to start somewhere. So if we chase them away on day 2 of their new job, guess what? Now we're short a dealer. So we have to be mindful. We all started somewhere, and don't forget, you were nervous one day too. So, anyway, off that soapbox again, Donna. I wanted to give an update on Logan Hewitt that was on our space last Friday. Um, as you guys know, he got a letter from Caesar's property of trespassing him. He did send me a message saying that somebody went to the poker room that is a friend of his, as well as a player in the poker room where the incident took place. And there seemed to be some movement after that. So fingers crossed for Logan that all works out like it's supposed to. And honestly, I don't know what that is because I don't know all the details, but hopefully resolution will come soon. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I'm good, Sherry.
Thank you. ASG.
Good. It'll be interesting to see the Player of the Year stuff. Like they really need to figure out like either online bracelets or they're not bracelets. I don't understand how you can call them bracelets and then say that for Player of the Year they're different.
Well, and don't you think that to me, the solution is just make them rings, like online's a circuit events, and just give them the rings, just like circuit events. I don't know. I think that may be a good solution. And I get it. I hear exactly what you're saying. And it's a slippery slope. Jonathan, any other questions or comments, bud?
No, thank y'all for doing this.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Um, Isaac, you still there, bud? Are you driving? He may have lost signal. Who knows? But I want to give him a chance. Isaac, any more questions or comments? We're just going to keep moving along. Donna, questions or comments, love?
Nope.
Thank
Nothing.
you. Thank you. Love you.
Love
Brian,
you too.
thank you. Safe
Yeah,
travels
thank you.
today.
And thanks, Jonathan, ASG, Todd, Barry, and all of you. I'm going to see you soon, hopefully. And Daniel Wu and Becca and Isaac and Donna and everybody else that joined. Really great morning, my friends.
It
Miss you,
surely
Nugget.
was. And why do I feel like I was on Romper Room right then? And those of you that don't know, look it up. I appreciate everybody joining us. We'll be back daily from at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We will have our second annual daily shows for the WSOP coverage. So join us every morning, and thank you for joining us this morning.